Aloha, Teepa. Thanks so much for joining us. And aloha kakahiaka kako to everyone here. Mahalo for all of your patience as we start at 10:05. So happy for you all to join us. My name is Tish Lopez. I will be your moderator this morning. Welcome to Hawaii Care Choices Healthcare Talk Story. I also have two wonderful hosts with me, Lonnie Weigert, who you may all know and love, and our guest host, Helene Andrew, Clinical Director for Hawaii Care Choices. Just a friendly reminder, today's talk story is being recorded and is only accessible for a limited time only. All of our past presentations are available on our YouTube channel. Simply search Hawaii Care Choices. So we are also on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us to see a ton of content, events, and upcoming exciting talk stories just like the one today. So for those of you joining us on Zoom, the bottom of your screen should look like this. Please follow that green arrow and click on the chat box below. Say aloha and let us know where you're joining in from. In August, we have launched the Empower Your Choice Talk Story series. So as we continue to discuss and explore the understanding of health equity and how that impacts your access to quality care, during this webinar, ask all the questions to our guest, Teepa, simply by following that purple arrow on the Q&A box to submit your questions. We are also live on Facebook, so those of you that are joining us, aloha. Please use your comment box to say aloha and let us know where you are joining in from. Use that chat box for your questions as well as share your reactions with us during this talk story. We would love to see the hearts, the thumbs up, the care button. Also feel free to share this live video with your friends or anyone you know may need the information. I am so excited to introduce our guest speaker today, the incredible Teepa Snow. Teepa is an occupational therapist with over 40 years of rich and varied clinical and academic experience. Her experiences led her to the development of the GEMS state model for understanding the progression of dementia and the positive approach training strategies. Her company, Positive Approach to Care, or PAC, provides online and in-person education and products to support those living with brain change. Teepa presents with extraordinary expertise and humor to audience throughout the entire world. We are so happy to have her right here on Talk Story. Without further ado, please help me give a warm virtual round of applause for Teepa Snow. Aloha.
Hey, Tish, I am so glad to be here. Phew, that was like sliding under the wire. It's like not a good way to arrive, but I got here, so that's the good news.
Absolutely. So happy to be here. Thanks for joining us. Oh my God.
I'm so glad to be with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about this idea of these amazing gems. These beautiful people whose brain is changing, their brain is changing on them, but and so they do things differently. But I don't know what to say. I do things differently than you do them, I suspect. And if we followed one another into the bathroom, I bet you we would find all kinds of differences. I bet some people would try to lock the door and not let us in there. And I bet some people would say, sure, come on in. And they would proceed to go naked in front of us. And we might be shocked. And some people might be fine with us being there until it became time to do something. And then they'd want us, well, they'd just leave. You can stay there. I'll come back later. Because it turns out that human brains are unique. Human beings are unique. And when you develop a brain change like dementia, you're going to get more unique. You're going to be even more interesting. So when I looked around and I saw what people were doing, what they were talking about, most of the time they were talking about what was missing and not what was still there. And so when I look at you, all I can see is what you got. I can't see what's missing from you unless it's super obvious. And our brains are hidden inside, so it's sort of hard to see. So I thought, okay, well, what if I saw the beauty of what was still there, and then with the right support and the right care, look, people look fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen a little bit because maybe I can. Maybe you will let me. Maybe you won't. I don't know. I mean, you might not let me do something like that.
Let me get that. Hold on one second.
Look at that. You're so nice.
Okay, there you go.
Look at that. You're being so nice. Okay, here we go. So I am going to share my screen for just a second, mostly because I do want to give you some visual stuff, not just running my mouth, because it turns out what we see is really helpful to our brains. So I'm going to go through 6 quick gems. And because I have panelists, I'm going to let the panelists see if they can come up with some answers. And you guys in chat can do it too. So if I were to say to you, sapphire, diamond, emerald, amber, ruby, pearl. Okay, sapphire, diamond, emerald, amber, ruby, pearl. Okay, now I'm going to take away the picture. Tell me the 6 colors that come to mind right away. What do you got? You have to unmute too. I mean, you can chat, I mean, if you'd like, but unmute. What do you got?
I have sapphire, so blue, red, white.
Okay, good. You've got blue. And what do you think the red one is? Which gem state would you say the blue or the red one is?
Ruby?
Ruby. Good job. And what about the white? What do you think with the white?
Let me say diamond for the white.
Oh, white or clear for the diamond?
No, I went with white.
Pearl. Pearl.
Over here. Oh, we have Helena. It says, oh, no, that's the pearl. That's
there
the pearl,
Okay.
the creamy white. And the clear, crystal clear would be the diamond with lots of facets and lots of shine and lots of bling. Now that leaves us with the green, which would be the
oh my gosh, my memory.
what color? What would be a oh,
see, emerald.
Emerald. All of our attendees.
The Emerald Isle, like for Ireland, and the Emerald Isle. Now, what about the orangish yellowish one? The one that's hardest to describe, maybe in some ways.
Amber.
Look at that, amber. And amber is interesting because it actually is not formed from a mineral. It's actually sap that comes out of a pine tree, and then more sap runs over and it hardens, but it's something caught in a moment of time. That's what amber is. And so, and actually, if you heat it hard enough, you can melt it. Did you know that? You can melt amber. So it's all about, sensitivity. So now I'm going to talk about the idea of what if we saw people in these ability states and we looked at, so what do they like? What do they want? What do they need? And how can we support people? So I'm going to see what happens here. So if we think of a diamond, we can think of a diamond as being clear and sharp. It can be cutting, but it can absolutely be beautiful, but it has lots of facets to it. When we're talking about an emerald, all true emeralds are flawed. And if we look at a stoplight sequence, yellow, green, red, the green light is for what? I bet you know right off.
Usually go.
Usually go. And you may go around and around and around, or you may go, and I'm gone. So that's in the emerald time. You might be doing some traveling. And in the amber state, if we think of amber, what's that light in the middle? What's that supposed to mean?
Yellow light, maybe.
It's the yellow light. What are you supposed to do when you see the yellow light?
You're supposed to slow down.
I love how you said, well, you're supposed to slow down. Exactly, because you're supposed to use caution. You need to use caution. But the challenge with the amber light hits, how many people want to go really fast to get through the light? And so when someone's in an amber moment, they're just in that moment. They either want to stay in that moment and pause in that moment, or they want to get going and go do something else, and they do it more. And so the thing is, they wouldn't have a lot of caution, but they like what they like. And when they like it, they want it. And then if they get a little of it, then I'd like more of it. So if I were to put out, let's say a chocolate cake with chocolate icing, and I were to say, we have 15 friends coming over in about 20 minutes. What do you think we should do? And I were to ask this. I am going to say that some of you, very sapphire, very true blue, you may be a little slower than you used to be, but what you would say is, 15. Okay. Have we got plates? Have we got forks? At what time are they coming? Okay, do you think we should go ahead and cut it? Or do you think we should wait till everybody gets here and then cut it? And then, we'd be actually trying to figure out what makes the most sense to do, because what are we already thinking? In all honesty, as a sapphire, what are you already thinking? How can we take care of all these people? How can we be adaptable? How can we be flexible? We're going to choose. We'll either fix the cake, make sure everybody gets a piece. So how do we cut a cake into 15 pieces? How many of you were already trying to figure out how can you cut a cake into 15 pieces? So I'm curious out there, how would you figure it out? Because these are going to be sapphire brains that are going to be able to do this. Let's see what we got in this moment.
Go ahead and put it in the chat. Teepa, I think my first thought is, what shape is the cake?
Very good question. Wow, Tish, that's an excellent. So your brain already said, okay, well, it depends on the shape of the cake. Okay, what if I tell you it was a big round cake, 2 layers, and it had this beautiful frosting. However, it doesn't have anything on it. It's not like it has writing on it. And we have other things to do at the party, by the way.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, Lonnie, how would you cut that big round cake?
Oh, now I'm going to pause because Tish did a very sapphire thing. Because rather than just answering the question, who did she want to include?
Okay, so I would like to include Lonnie on this, but so that would be my next thing.
That was your spontaneous. And that is really important because it says who you are. Your life experiences, your values informed what you chose to do. I mean, you weren't going to just hog the conversation because you like to talk. You were fine with doing more, but you also saw the value of how important it was. And so being in a sapphire state, we can have all this flexibility. Now, some of you out there are really curious about, well, how are you going to cut the cake? Now, if that's the case, you may be a little more diamond because you're stuck on this cake thing. You're wanting to know, what about the cake? Because we have 15 people and we've got this cake and it's round. Now you've got more data. Now, some of you are going, well, so what? It's, what does this have to do with what I want to do? And others are really getting into the storyline. So Lonnie, let's see which side you're going to fall on. Are you a joiner or are you a loner? You're just going to sit back for a bit and see how this plays out.
Oh, I'm totally a joiner. I'm an absolute joiner, yes.
Yeah, so what do you think we should do? 15 pieces. We need 15 pieces out of this round cake. What's your thought?
I'm gonna now empower somebody to weigh in. So I'm gonna empower Helene to share with us. Yes.
So now here's the thing. Lonnie just followed Tish's lead. And so she actually did something different, though. She didn't actually answer anything. She passed the ball. Did you see that, Helene?
I saw that.
So she's tricky. We don't know whether or not she actually has math skills or not. But she is a joiner, but she was very thoughtful about passing it around. So what can happen is we can think, oh, she's fine. Yeah, no, she's good. She can handle us. She'll be great in any group because she's a joiner. But we don't actually know what her skills are because she did a very nice covering job. And so we can't quite tell whether she's very self-aware of changes, and so she's not willing to risk making a mistake, or whether she really does want Helene to have a chance. We're going to have to dig in further. And one of our challenges in dementia is we let people slide by and think everything's fine, when in fact for them, they're like little ducks under the water. They're so anxious and nervous about making a mistake. Why don't you have her do it? I'm not going to do it. And they start losing abilities because, frankly, they keep covering for the potential of making a mistake because they're too afraid it could. And so when I'm being sapphire, I may realize, hey, Lonnie, I've got an idea. I want to run it by you.
And then I'm going to convert to an old routine. And then I'm going to say, okay, so let's look at the cake and
Okay.
How
Yeah.
many people? So, so then I'll start going that way. But
Then you'll
I like
start.
what you said about we can cover. Oh my gosh, that was just brilliant, because that
And
is
it's so
exactly what
funny.
happened.
Family
Yeah.
members will say, "Oh, mom's fine. She just gets anxious a little bit every now and then." I mean, but she calls me 15 times a day, but I don't really think it's dementia. I just think she's getting forgetful. And it's like, tell me more about that. Because, she calls me. Well, what she's saying is, I rely on you to be my auxiliary because I'm struggling a little bit. And I put it off because I'm pretty good at being social. So we can support someone in a diamond state and encourage them to use everything they have, or we can keep helping them cover up and not realize how many opportunities they miss, because all Lonnie did was pass the ball. She didn't actually use her brain very much, and she moved back into a let me watch and see what happens mode. And that's tricky. It's so tricky. So, hey, Lonnie, I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
Now, notice how I didn't make eye contact when I said that. And I said, hey, Lonnie, used her first name. I have a question for you. And then I started looking really thoughtful. And I gave her space and time to say, okay, I'm willing to take a risk with you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I said, okay, so if we started by cutting the cake into 5 pieces, 5 big pieces.
Okay.
Do you think we can get to 15, or is that the wrong thing to do?
I think we could get into 15. I believe we could.
You think so? So each of the 5 pieces, how many pieces should we cut those into?
3.
3, because if we have 5 times 3, we end up with what?
50.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Wow, you are so helpful. I so appreciate you. Now I'm going to ask Helene, did I sound authentic?
Yes.
Do you feel appreciated, Lonnie?
Yes.
Do you think next time you'd take a chance with me?
Absolutely.
And did you get to use your brain and try something out you may not use very often, which is math?
Yes. But there was a part that I thought was really interesting, is when you called my name and you looked away, it caused a different sense in me to elevate, because I had to really listen. Were you calling my name or possibly saying somebody else's name because you looked away?
Yeah, so I didn't give you the eye contact. But the problem when I give you eye contact is, hey, Lonnie, now you're right in the spot. And if you make a mistake, who's going to notice?
Yes.
Ooh. And sometimes we think making eye contact is reinforcing, but for people who are somewhat anxious, even though they're just very skillful, it suddenly shuts their brain down, because your primitive brain goes, uh-oh, she's looking at me. Tell you what, Helene is here. How about asking her? So let's move on, though, because I don't want to just stop there, but I did want people to notice the most frequent missed early signs of change are people who are in diamond state and who are good socially at doing the cover. And all too often, they miss so many opportunities to use all the synapses they have because we don't know how to be creative in a challenge so it doesn't feel demeaning or belittling. And we have to be careful with it. But we can do so much when we're curious and we really are supportive. So let's talk for a second about emeralds. So in an emerald state, the reality of being in an emerald state in our own brain, not just somebody living with dementia, is that we're probably going to make some mistakes because we're getting in a hurry and we're trying to get going. Or I'm used to doing something and I'm doing it and I'm not really thinking about doing it. And right as I finish doing it, my brain realizes, what was I doing? And what should I be doing next? And so the most common statement made in these moments is, hey, sweetheart, looking at Helene, what do I do now? What's next on the agenda? Now, what were some hints that I'm being vague, not so sharp, not so clear? What were a couple of hints?
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart. Yeah, that's not my usual lexicon. I used everybody else's name. And this time I went, hey, sweetheart. Oh, hey, come here, come here. So like, I might call you, little girl. Mm-hmm. And I use, what am I also doing with my hand?
Mm-hmm. Come here.
Motioning you, because I'm using both a visual and a verbal. So if it's not sure who I'm talking to, I'll, hey, listen. Now, here's the tricky part. I might say, hey, you, that one, come on over. And that's the moment when someone in a diamond state is like, Teepa. And I go, what? I was just trying to get her to come over, because I'm missing some of the nuances of what's okay and what's not okay. I didn't mean anything rude. I was trying to come up with something that would get you, and I couldn't have your name, and a sweetheart didn't occur to me right then, and I used a visual, which is, you have a lot of you. And I made a comment, and it's like, that's where, hey, you, tall one, hey, skinny one, hey, little one. I mean, but when we use certain words, that's okay, that's not okay. But I'll tell you, it's sort of nuanced. Is it okay to say but, or it isn't okay to say but? We all have them. Or should I say bottom, or should I say your tush, or should I, what kind of words are okay to use in this particular setting and which are not? So I'm likely to make some mistakes. So if you put out a whole meal and part of it is dessert, what mistake might I make? What do you think?
You'll eat dessert first.
Well, I'll eat dessert and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Which is a little different than I like dessert, so I'm going to go ahead and eat it and then eat the rest of the meal. I could actually eat dessert and be finished. Mm-hmm. Because then I skip what's next. Or I might have a drink, look out the window and go, oh, well, no, that's interesting. Then come back and say, who was sitting here and it drank out of my cup? Mm-hmm. Excuse me, what's going on here? Somebody's been drinking out of my cup. And without thinking, what might a supporter say without thinking back? Because they go into diamond state. What do you think a supporter would say?
That's your cup. It was, you were drinking it.
I didn't drink anything. I was at the window. And what we try to do is explain back what we know. And what we are missing is we're the ones then making the errors. And it's frustrating for both of us. And so this is that moment where we have to go, you're wondering about the cup. Tell you what, let me get a fresh cup. I don't know how that happened.
Okay.
So what am I saying we should do? Let go. Switch. Let's quit trying to get them to get it right. Let's quit pointing out, that's not your shirt. Oh, where are you? No, hang on. You already did. Wait, hang on. Because this is where if we put things out on a table and somebody starts eating right away, oh, wait, where's everybody else? Hang on. Whoa, don't come in yet. No. And so this is where we might start noticing who sounds a little mean.
So Cheryl in the chat said, not challenging them and not pointing out their shortcomings as the caregiver.
Yeah. So how we use voices. So this would be that, oh, hey, Tish. Because I can guarantee you, oh, hey, Tish, would stop her in her tracks and get her to look at me. And that means I can redirect. I can say, you're hungry. Listen, I could use your help for a second. Now that's really different than, oh, Tish, hang on there. Whoa, Tish, wait a second. Come on, it's not quite time yet. Come with me. Come, Tish, come over here. Come on, Tish. Oh, Tish, don't sit down there. Come on. What do you want to do, Tish? Be honest.
Exactly.
And this is where I will hear family members often describe mom's getting stubborn. She does this stuff. She knows better than that. Or I'll hear care support people say, I mean, she gets her eye on it and man, she is, and then it's just like dragging her away. And it's like, who put it out? Take a step back. Who made it visible? Who allowed the person to get the cue that we're ready to move into this? And so for us, it's a constant state of staying in sapphire. Or if we're not careful, we'll have trouble with our brain state. So if I were to say, hey, Helene, have you seen my mom? I'm looking for my mom.
I would say, Teepa, tell me more about your mom.
Oh, very good. You're so close. And you are absolutely very much on track. The only thing you have to start doing typically to be more beneficial, take the ball, catch my ball. Can you catch it? Catch it. Hey, I'm looking for my mom. So you're going to say, oh, tell me you caught the ball.
You're looking for your mom.
Bingo. Yeah. So it's called a reflection. And that allows me to know you're with me. You get it. And then you can say,
tell me what your mom looks like.
Well, you know her. You know what she looks like. Now, you did it differently the first time, Helene.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
You said, tell me about your mom, and you left it wide open. And the second time you said, tell me what she looks like, which then says, you don't know what she looks like? Mm-hmm. What do you mean you don't know what she looks like? You should know her. Don't you know her? I thought you knew her. Well, now you're not helpful. This is tricky, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because when we're dealing with a flaw, the flaw comes and goes. And so you never know. And so now I'm asking for more in the support so I can shine. And this is where more and more skill is needed. And so if I were to say, hey, listen, I got to get out of here. I got to go home. What should your brain do right away? Which gem state do you want to think right away? It's a hint right here. What do you want to think?
Emerald.
You want to think emerald. And the reason you want to think emerald is I just said, listen, I got to get home. I got to get out of here. I got to get home. And if I'm in a residential program or I'm in my home, what does that tell you is happening for me? I'm on the go. I'm going back in time. I'm going to another place. I have a flaw. Here it is. So what's the first thing we want to do? Let's just rehearse because I'm into skill building. You guys know that. I do skill building. So listen, I got to get out of here. I got to get home. What are you going to catch?
Oh, you want to go.
Yeah, I got to get, the kids are there and I want to fix them something to eat. So now your brains are, I can tell, I can see in your eyes, I can tell right away your brain is like, uh-oh, that's not good. Because I keep going, like I'm in fast. I just put my foot on the gas and you're like, let's slow this puppy down. But you want to put the brakes on rather than travel with me for a minute. And you want to say, oh, you got to feed the kids. Are you thinking of something hot or cold?
Oh, okay.
Because what I want to do is gradually take the foot off the gas without trying to jam it on the brake. Because if you try to jam your foot on the brake, what's going to happen if I'm going at high speed?
Yeah.
You're going to get angry and stubborn.
Yeah, I'm going to wreck. I mean, we're going to wreck. And I don't want you in my car anymore because you're messed with my... And so all of a sudden we're in trouble. So this or that becomes a really good option. So, I want to go home. Oh, you're wanting to go home. Huh? Do you need to do something there? You just want to not be here. because I'm not answering your question, but what I am doing is acknowledging you asked me a question. So I see we have something in the.
We do. So the question is the response. Could you respond by saying, "This is your home"?
This is not my home. What are you talking about? That's crazy. This is not my home. I don't even know how I got here. Because the challenge in that moment is to acknowledge my brain change. I have a flaw. In that moment, if I knew this was my home, I wouldn't say I need to go. I'd be saying, I'm home. What are you doing here? Did I say get out of my house? That's another way to go, though. I certainly could think, who told you to get here? My dad owns this place. He's not going to like it that you people are here. In which case, we have another situation. In all these cases, what we recognize is, wow, the person is lost in time or place. And rather than trying to fix it, which is hard to do, I want to try to figure out what's the underlying message. So if I say the kids are there and I need to fix something for them to eat, one of three messages right away. Could I be hungry or thirsty? Am I bored and looking for something to do? And that's a familiar old pattern. Or could I truly in this moment believe I have children and I have a responsibility? And if you look back in my story, I literally did have kids. I had like 4 kids all in the school age. And at school time, when school let out, I fixed snacks for everybody so that they could go out and play after that. And if you find that out about me, we want to start building a program where I help fix snack at about 2:45 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that there's an opportunity for me to be actively engaged in the now with my brain doing something that's familiar. And we fix those crackers with the peanut butter on them, or over in your neck of the woods, not neck of the woods, you probably don't even say that. Over in Hawaii, you would do something different.
We still like butter and crackers. That's
good. Okay, good. I am so glad, because I would be so. The poi thing, I get it, but I'm not so sure that 3 o'clock's my time for poi.
Yep. Yeah.
Freezies, those freezy cups. So, is this making sense, and is this helpful to people? Because if not, I can switch gears, because I'm Sapphire.
Teepa, what I really enjoy is that the tips of the trade, right? Because dementia is hard. And I remember when I went through nursing school, it was like, no, you need to bring them back to reality. And things have changed in the practice where you meet them where they are, and being able to say, whoa, and then say this or that. So they still have power. Like, they're empowered to make a choice and not be just sitting on the sidelines. They're really involved in that communication. So I really appreciate the where you're going. And I will be honest, and when you're talking about the cake, I was like, oh my gosh, who ordered the cake? They should have just had them cut it. And that was my thinking. Anyway,
that is that's like, you should just have it ready the way it should be, which is very diamond-like, Helene, which is great, because it says, I like habit, I like routine, I like things to be the way they should. And so what I would have to do is, you know what, Helene, you were absolutely right. It should have been cut, and next time I need to do better. That's ridiculous. We shouldn't be having to waste all the time cutting it into equal pieces. You are so smart. That is why I should have asked you before I even made that decision.
So, Teepa, I have another, just a Kristen in the chat said, I think it can be difficult for nurses to go where the patient is, and validating them seems very challenging for clinical people. I hear you.
Yeah, because it's like, well, that's not true. And it's like, it's true to me. So do you really want to argue with somebody whose brain is broken, who you can't heal it, you can't make it better? They have to live where they are with you. And if you're going to argue with me, how many people love living with somebody who always argues with you and wants you to be wrong so they can be right? It's about relationship. It's not about being right. And if I trust and like you, even if this isn't my home, I'll stay with you because I like you, because you give me things to do that give me a sense of value. I'll stay because you're my friend. I'll stay because I feel like this is okay, even though I really wish I could go home. I know, I wish you could too, but I could sure use your help for a minute. Okay, well, what do you need? Well, come here, let me show you. Because notice I wasn't going to give you the words. I want to move you away from the door. I want to move you into a space where we can do something. I want to have you do something. I need to sort this silverware out. As somebody left it, it's a mess. Here, tell you what, I'm going to open the drawer. See if you can find the forks for me. Now, notice I simplified the task. I left a whole bunch of silverware out on the counter. What did I ask you to identify?
Forks.
Just one. I didn't ask you to sort it all out. I said, find the forks. And your brain now only has to look for the fork over and over and over until all the forks are found. And then I can say, oh, how about the spoons? And now guess what's left? And so, wow, you are so good at this. Hey, listen, because now I have to help you with a transition. Because when you get stuck, man, it's hard to come out of that. Oh, I could use your help. And I move over toward the refrigerator and I say, we need to wipe the outside of this. Let's get a cloth. Come on. And now all of a sudden, I'm helping you transition. Oh, where's the cloth? Oh, in the bathroom. While we're there, tell you what, why don't we go to the bathroom while we're here? Instead of trying to get you to go to the bathroom, which I'll go when I need to. Except you won't. Because you will wait too long. And then you're incontinent. And then I'm frustrated because why did you wait? And so it's really an art form, quite honestly. And it takes practice. Now, I know we're getting close on time, and I want to be really, really sensitive. However, I want to show you a situation for a second. Because this next person is in the amber ruby state. And I said amber is all about living in the moment. And we've just been over the emerald. But what I wanted to point out is we also can learn about ruby state, which is when somebody's strong and powerful, but they don't have a lot of skills. They just simply don't have a lot of skills left. So I'm going to show you a clip of a situation. Oops, hang on one second. I've got to pause it here and I've got to bring it online and I've got to add some. Oh, shoot. Okay, Teepa, you can do this. Pause, think. Okay, I've got to share the screen. I've got to share the sound. Then I've got to come here and now I've got to click share.
Beautiful. We can all see it.
Excellent. Now that's when there should be applause because that was a lot of things I did. There was a lot of different steps there. And that would be a diamond thing. I need you to applaud me. The sapphire thing. Good thing I know how to do this. All right, here we go. I'm going to start it off and I'll pause periodically and ask questions. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I'm going to pause. Now, how many of you, go ahead and tell me what you think is happening here.
The person looks like they're trying to clean the chair or.
Okay, so your take on it, Tish, it looks like she's trying to clean a chair. Okay, what else? What's the reality?
Cleaning.
She thinks she's cleaning. What else do you notice? What does she have on her hands?
Gloves.
Outdoor gloves.
Outdoor gloves.
Okay. Uh-huh.
She's probably planting something, or she thinks she is.
She's probably
gardening.
Gardening. You think she thinks she's maybe gardening. What does she have in her hand? What was that? Hang on. Let me back it up a little bit and see if you can. Okay, I'll put it here so you can see it again. What is it? It's a maraca.
I was going to say, is it an instrument? It looks
It's
like
an instrument. She has a musical instrument in her hand. And you'll also notice some things about her. What do you notice about her back? Ooh.
It's hunched over.
Yeah, she has kyphosis, really, really bad kyphosis. I mean, she has this horrible, she has 5 vertebral fractures in her spine that she has had over time. She has had 2 hip fractures and repairs. What else do you notice about the size of her?
Aw.
She doesn't have any meat on her bones. I mean, she's a really tiny lady, and she's very frail looking. What if I told you she'd been doing this for over 2 hours? This thing she's been doing it over 2 hours.
Wow.
And people have tried, and it's inside, and it's 75 degrees inside.
But she's dressed for the outdoors, for much
She's
colder
still dressed
weather.
for the outdoors. She never took her outdoor stuff off. Nobody could get her to take her outdoor stuff off. Now, when she first got there, they decided they were going to do a musical activity, and everybody was sitting in all these chairs, and they were doing the musical activity, and they finished the musical activity. And one of the things at the musical activity, everybody got musical instruments. Mm-hmm. And at the end, they said, okay, let's go get some coffee, some orange juice. It's time for breakfast. And so everybody left after they turned in their musical instruments, except for our friend. So now it's been over 2 hours. What are you thinking? What's happening for your brains?
So she's staying in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Boy, is she in the moment. And this is Teepa. She's talking. You can ignore her, but you have her here. You don't need to listen to her. So that had been going on for about 2 hours. They had tried multiple things to get her to stop. She just wouldn't stop. They offered her coffee. She would bat it away from them. And they would come in and they say, come on, let's go. Nope, leave me alone. So they said, Teepa, can you try? And I said, well, I'll try. I mean, I don't know that I'll do anything. Tell me, what do you know about her? And they said she used to clean houses for a living. Okay. And so I said, give me a couple rags. I probably did say it like that. And now that I don't know, it was a few years ago. I might have been a little rude. I might have said, here, hand me a couple rags, because I was already focusing on what can I try. So let's see what happens. Oh yeah, I forgot she was annoying everybody. One guy said, if she doesn't shut up, I'm going to kick her. Another guy said, I'm going to choke her, because this noise was super annoying to everybody. She hadn't been to the bathroom.
Judy in the chat saying, trade the maraca for the rag to use to clean or feather dust or something. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Oh, she thinks it's a feather duster. Good pickup, Tish. Exactly, because if she's a little hard of hearing, what's she missing? The noise that annoys everybody else. She's not doing it. She didn't even know it makes noise, which meant, did she miss what happened in music? Yeah. And everybody left. So what was she supposed to do once everybody got out of the area?
Clean.
So at that moment, she was in an emerald state. But now it's all about the sensory. So here comes Teepa. Let's see what happens. Miss Leona. Okay, so I tried to be friendly. What did Leona say? Get your hand out of there. Is what she's trying to do. Her job. And I'm trying to interject. So let's see. Acknowledges. Oh, what happened when I rubbed it? What happened to her beating on it? She quit. She quit because all of a sudden it was like her eyes went, oh yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's another cleaning thing. So I went where she was, to her reality, even though it's like, you don't need to clean the shirt. They'd all tried all that. The reality thing. Let's have coffee. You need to go to the bathroom. You don't need to do that. Yes, she did. She needed to do it. Yeah.
You redirected her with the towel.
So she's still cleaning, but now she's cleaning with something that's quiet, that's not annoying everybody. And it looks more purposeful to everybody else. So she's not seen as the crazy lady, the lady who's so annoying. She's not an Amber. She's not, doing this weird stuff. She's doing something that actually looks like it sort of makes sense. Except I know she's been at it for over 2 hours and she's got to be exhausted. I want to reinforce it. That's good. 2 more to go. Oh, did you see 4 chairs down there? 2 more to go. I say 2 chairs, 2 more to go, because what I want to do is get her to pause. So watch my behavior. I'm sneaky because I need it to be done. Here it goes. Watch how sneaky I am. She's busy doing this. She's really busy. No more chairs. We finished the last chair. So what happened by turning it around to the back, her brain doesn't register it as another chair. I've interrupted the cycle.
And she feels completed.
And you did a fantastic job. You're a great cleaner. I get a hug, and we're going to stop by the bathroom before we take a break.
Oh.
So sapphire, diamond, emerald, amber, ruby. And now pretty soon she'll be in a pearl state because she'll need to recover from that 2 hours of cleaning. And what I am is the gem that can transition people. And that's our goal. How can we stay sapphire and create the right setting with the right care so everyone in our care can shine?
Even in the chat, very nicely done, Teepa.
Oh, what an amazing group.
It definitely has. Teepa, thank you so much. I see Helene maybe has a question or a comment.
Sure.
I have a few, just knowing that I am clinical. I do have a couple of questions for you, Teepa, if you have a few minutes.
Sure.
But what are some techniques that we can learn from you to treat that combative behavior? Or we know that the patient needs to have a bath and they don't want to bath. And so what are some other tricks?
One of those tricks. Yeah, and it's not a trick, it's acknowledging. And so the first thing, if I were to say, number one, did they understand what we said? So one of my things is, Helene, you've got something like right here, like right there. What did you do without thinking?
Really? Oh, really? Something right there?
Because I said, I saw something and now I could hand you a washcloth. And I say, no, here, is that warm enough for you? Here, go ahead. I think it looks like you might have, here, try this. Here, let me hold your glasses. And I enter into relationship with you by noticing something, and there's not a mirror in there. And so I built trust enough, and I showed you on me what I'm asking of you. And what did you do without thinking? You truly didn't think about it other than, yeah. And then I say, here, try it with a washcloth. See how that is. Okay. Oh, Helene, right back, feel right here. I think your skin is sort of dry. Yeah. Tell you what, let me put some moisture. Here, can you take your jacket off for just a second? I don't want to get this moisturizer on you. And without right away, your brain starts going, oh, it's a friendly person. This is not a task to be done. I am not a task to be done. I am a person that has value and you will work with me. Now, if I just suddenly reach out and put my hands on you without your permission and try to get your jacket off, what's an automatic reaction to that? What would you do if I started to try to take your jacket off without permission?
Don't take my clothes off.
You got it. And how many of you on a first date would get naked? And yet it's what we ask of people who are living with enormous brain changes. Here, I'll keep my clothes on. You get naked. And I'm not advocating that we get naked. I'm advocating that we acknowledge how much we ask of another human in an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people doing unfamiliar things that are usually done in the privacy of my own space. And if I knew I needed a bath, I would be taking a bath. I have a history of taking a bath or taking a shower or a wash up. So sometimes what I'll start with is, hey, Helene, now, do you like to get in the tub or do you like to stay at the sink when you wash up?
I like the tub.
You like the tub? Not me, man. I'm a sink person. Yeah. Now, how do you like your water? Hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot. Oh, now morning or night?
Morning.
Morning. Now that's already told me a couple things. I need to plan for your wash up in the morning. I will always offer you the tub, but guess what? Most times you'll be more interested in the sink. Guess what I'm going to do in the bathroom? Turn it up, crank up the heat as high as I can get it. Because that's what will make you want to come out of your clothes. I want it so hot in that room, it feels better without clothing than with. I've got to turn the fan off. Why? Because I don't want the air moving. You told me hot. You told me the tub. You don't want the water moving on you. You want the water to be still on you. So you're giving me so much data that when it comes to that opportunity to support you, I will also almost always start with feet. Because if you won't bare your feet and allow me to mess with your feet, you're not going to let me get in your private areas easily. But one of the real important skills I teach is hand under hand. How do I take your dominant preferred hand and have it travel with me so that you're touching yourself and I'm along for the ride? How do I stand off to the side so I'm not looking like I'm going to do something to you, but instead I'm here to support doing it with you? And they're all strategies and techniques learned after years of making mistakes.
Yes.
So beautiful, Teepa. Thank you so much. We do have 2 minutes left. I just want to acknowledge we did have a story that one of our own CNAs actually had that struggle with a patient, and she approached it as, oh no, it's a spa day. You know,
there you go.
And then
go with the reality that they can accept that. Why would you be in a space where you didn't have many clothes on and someone is there? Well, this is special. Not everybody gets it.
Yes, yes. So it definitely is reinforcing that person that, okay, I'm on the right track, you know, and giving us all or here a few more tips on how to redirect without being, you know, judgmental or rude or trying to pull them away from their own reality, right? Oh my goodness. We have Judy coming in from the chat. She said, Teepa, you are awesome. If I was a patient, I would trust you because you made me feel special. Yes, and I totally agreed to that earlier in this in the hour when you're like, hey Tish, and I'm like, yes, you know, versus no, Tish, no, we're not gonna eat right now. It's not the time, you know. I mean, the tone and the way you approached it, I mean, it felt so different, right? So we so appreciate you taking your time out, Teepa. If there is one gem of knowledge that you want us all to walk away with today, what would you like to leave us with?
Assess before you assume. Always assess. Give yourself a moment of observation and offer an invitation to participate rather than demand that someone be with you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's everyone give Teepa a round of applause. Thank you, thank you.
The halo, y'all.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Teepa. I know you have such a busy schedule. We're so glad that you joined us from wherever in the world that you are to come in and
I'm in Florida, another hot, sunny place, but yours I would always come back to if I gave a choice.
Yeah.
Don't tell them I said that.
You let us know. Lonnie and Helene and I will pick you up at the airport and show you all around. We'll definitely be there. Friends, thank you so much for joining Hawaii Care Choices Healthcare Talk Story this morning with Teepa Snow, the incredible. If you are all invited next month to the Healthcare Talk Story on Monday, December 11th at 10, be on the lookout for the registration link, Instagram, Facebook, or our website, hawaiicarechoices.org/healthcare talk story. Until next time, ahui ho ma lamapono. Take care. Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo, Teepa.
That's right. Mahalo. Mahalo all. Thank you so much.
Mahalo, Teepa.
Bye.